Sergio Perez is in trouble. Despite being in the best car in the grid, he's still underperforming. From potential plans to create a dream team for Red Bull to the chances of Daniel Ricciardo taking his place, here's everything we know about who might replace Perez at Red Bull. First off, there's a dream team plan for Red Bull on the horizon. A recent report from Italy suggested that F1 owners Liberty Media have their sights set on creating a dream team at Red Bull in the coming years. The plan is basically to pair Max Verstappen, the reigning world champion, with another top-tier driver to add even more excitement to the front of the field. And let's be clear about one thing, Perez doesn't belong in that category. It's obvious that they want to make things more exciting for fans. They want another driver who really challenges Verstappen instead of one who lags behind. With the new leadership under Oliver Mintzlaff's team, along with Christian Horner and Helmut Marko, Red Bull clearly has new plans for the future too. Both Red Bull and Aston Martin have reportedly engaged in exploratory talks with Charles Leclerc regarding a potential move. Ferrari is also keen to secure Leclerc's services beyond 2024. Meanwhile, Lando Norris is held in high regard by Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko, but Norris is currently committed to McLaren until the end of 2025, and both parties have confirmed the absence of any get-out clauses in their agreement. The F1 silly season rumours are certainly in full swing. But wait, why get rid of Perez in the first place? Sergio Perez, the current Red Bull driver, has been facing a difficult season. His performance has fallen behind that of his teammate Max Verstappen. Perez openly admitted to struggling with a car at Silverstone, especially in demanding conditions like when the red flag lasted longer than he thought it would, or when they couldn't get enough temperature in the tyre. He said, "I've been struggling in these conditions with the car lately. My problems with the car become more apparent in these conditions. It's something we have to understand as a group to figure out and get to the bottom of it." This admission is concerning, especially when you think about how Perez was once known for easily adapting to and overcoming problems on the track. The Checo we once knew seems to have vanished, leaving us with a tough situation. In the qualifying session for the 2023 British Grand Prix, Perez failed to advance beyond Q1 and started 16th on the grid for Sunday's race. Meanwhile, his teammate Verstappen claimed pole position. It's clear that Perez is still struggling to find his groove. Given Perez's ongoing struggles, questions arise about his future at Red Bull. It also looks like Perez has lost his competitive drive and is ready to settle for number 2. In light of Verstappen's commanding lead in the championship, Perez has come to terms with the reality that he won't be fighting for the world title this season. While it may seem disappointing, Perez stands firm in his belief that his current second-place position in the standings is good enough for him. He points to his race victories and acknowledges a few setbacks along the way. Perez remains optimistic, emphasizing that there are still plenty of opportunities for him to seize. His revised goal? To secure the honorable title of number 2 in the world. In a report, he even said, "We had a good session yesterday, so for now, we need to look forward to tomorrow and just aim to get as many points as possible. It's going to be difficult to come through the field, but we will try our very best." This isn't the first time that Perez has found himself playing second fiddle to Verstappen. In the 2021 World Championship, Perez's pivotal contributions helped Verstappen win his maiden title. Recent comments from Verstappen have totally overshadowed Perez's past achievements, though. Verstappen boldly stated that he doesn't need Perez and can single-handedly secure the Constructors' Championship. And with each race, that's starting to seem very true. While the team's advisor Helmut Marko has said that there's currently no suitable replacement for Perez, everyone's got their own theories. Names like Lando Norris, Alex Albon, Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda have been tossed around as potential replacements. But here's an interesting twist. F1 journalist and former team manager Peter Windsor believes that Nico Hülkenberg would be the ideal fit. But what makes Hülkenberg stand out? According to Windsor, it's a matter of compatibility. Hülkenberg's extensive experience in Formula 1 and his skill set make him an excellent match for Red Bull. While the team explores various options, Windsor sees Hülkenberg as the standout candidate, who can seemingly integrate into the team's dynamics and deliver impressive results. Meanwhile, F1 journalist Joe Saward dropped an interesting hint. Saward suggested that Daniel Ricciardo might just step in while Red Bull prepares for the promising talent of Alex Palou. While Alex Palou's name has been floating around in recent rumors, it's equally fascinating to hear that Daniel Ricciardo might also be in the mix. While we may joke about how great it would be to see the Australian back behind the wheel for Red Bull, let's consider the possibilities seriously. Ricciardo's brief stint with the team this season appears to have matured him, no longer taking his seat for granted. This newfound maturity could make him an exceptional number 2 alongside the Dutchman Verstappen, unlike their previous pairing that lacked harmony. We could be looking at a possible driver reshuffle with AlphaTauri and Red Bull, which is huge. Plus, if you look at the contract complications Ricciardo was caught up in before he left, in a way, Red Bull has loaned Ricciardo to AlphaTauri. Confused? Let me explain. Last year, McLaren and Ricciardo decided to part ways after a disappointing 2-year stint. However, McLaren had to pay a hefty $18 million to Ricciardo as severance for ending his contract a year earlier and not having a seat for the 2023 season. But hold on, things took an interesting turn. The Honey Badger recently joined AlphaTauri after Nick de Vries was let go. Wait, did the severance package from McLaren have any clauses regarding a full-time seat for 2023? The theories and assumptions started pouring in, but the most logical explanation emerged. It seems that Ricciardo doesn't have a full-time seat just yet. He's on a temporary loan from Red Bull to AlphaTauri. Red Bull is technically still employing him as a third driver and has loaned him out. This means McLaren won't have any say or influence over the severance agreement, leaving them $18 million poorer. This is still mostly speculation, but if that's the case, then there's nothing stopping Red Bull from getting Ricciardo back. Apart from Ricciardo, there are also rumors that they've approached Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris for a potential move. Leclerc has had a tough season, currently sitting in 7th place with only 77 points. But at just 25 years old, he's still considered one of the most talented drivers on the grid, making him an attractive option for Red Bull. Meanwhile, Norris has been turning heads with his performances. He recently secured a podium finish at the British Grand Prix, finishing second behind Max Verstappen. The 23-year-old has been linked with top teams like Ferrari and Red Bull, and his strong showing at his home circuit only adds fuel to the speculation. On top of that, Helmut Marko also claims that Norris is the best young driver on the grid. Sure, there are rumors that Norris had already signed a pre-contract agreement with Ferrari, despite his manager being seen talking to Red Bull. But it's still increasingly likely that either Norris, Leclerc, or Ricciardo could join forces with Verstappen in the future as he continues to dominate the sport. Having a strong lineup with Verstappen, supported by any of these great drivers, would definitely make Red Bull an even better force on the track. And if you want to keep up with who might replace Sergio Perez to help Red Bull get a dream team, like and subscribe to The Grid Report, where we bring you the latest F1 updates.